Let us see topic 2.10.1, checking the dimensional consistency of equation. That means checking the dimensional correctness of equation. Checking the correctness of an equation is based on the principle of homogeneity, which suggests that only those physical quantities which are having same dimensions can be added or can be subtracted. This means that mass cannot be added with force, electric current cannot be subtracted from temperature, and so on. This is what you already know, that the physical quantities that are same in terms of dimension can be added or can be subtracted, not otherwise. We can add length with length, we can add temperature with temperature, but we cannot add length and temperature likewise. This principle means the principle of homogeneity, when applied to an equation, can determine whether the given equation is dimensionally correct or not. If the dimensions of left side is not same as the right side of an equation, then this equation is definitely wrong. We can check the equation whether it is right or wrong. If the dimensions of left side and right side are not same, then it is definitely wrong. Now, if the dimensions of left side and right side is same, the equation is dimensionally correct. However, it does not guarantee the correctness of the equation, because this method is uncertain to the extent of dimensionless quantities or functions. Moreover, the arguments of spatial functions such as trigonometric function, logarithmic function, and exponential functions must be dimensionless. In short, if the equation is having some dimensionless quantities or functions like trigonometric function, logarithmic function, and exponential function, and so on, then in that case, this method is not giving us the correct information whether the equation is exactly correct or not, because this dimensionless quantities and this type of functions cannot be checked. Let me explain this with some equation. We know the equation of area of rectangle is A is equal to LB. We know that this equation is correct and that can be used to find out the values of area. Here, the dimension of left side, that means area, and the dimension of right side, that is length and breadth, will come same. So, dimensionally this equation is correct, and practically also this equation is correct. We are using this equation. Now, if I make some changes, let us say, if I write the area A is equal to, let us say, 7 LB, then also this equation will found correct dimensionally, because in this case also the dimension of left side and right side will come same, because 7 is a dimensionless number, and that's why it is not considered in dimension analysis or say dimensional consistency. So dimensionally this equation will found to be correct, but we know that this is not a correct equation. The same way, if I write the equation of area as, let us say, LB sine theta, then dimensionally this equation will be found to be correct, because the dimension of left side and the dimension of right side will be same. Sine theta is a trigonometric function and that is not considered in any dimension. It is not having any dimension right now. That's why this equation will be found correct, but we know that this is not exactly correct equation. So this is a limitation, that we can check dimensional consistency of an equation, but we cannot check the exact correctness of that equation. But still, for a primary basic information, dimensional consistency of an equation is very much useful. Let us see some examples for this. Let us check the dimensional consistency of the following equations. The first is F is equal to MAD. Here F is force, M is mass, A is the acceleration and D is the displacement. So first I will take the left hand side. In left hand side I have to consider the dimensional formula of F, that is force. We know that dimensional formula of force is m1 L1 and T minus 2. Now we will consider the right hand side. In right hand side we have to take the dimensional formula of mass, of acceleration and of displacement. And for mass it is m1, for acceleration it is L1 T minus 2, and for displacement it is L1. See, generally the dimension of mass is written as m1 L0 and T0, but I have omitted this L0 and T0 to make the equation easy. The same way for acceleration the dimension is m0 L1 T minus 2, where I have omitted m0, and for this displacement also it is m0 L1 T0, where I have omitted m0 and T0 for the easiness of the solution. Now let us move further. As a whole, this gives us m1 L1 and again L1, that means it is L raised to 2 and m raised to minus 2. Now here you can see that left hand side and right hand side are not same. So this equation is not correct. This is a wrong equation. We need not to write here that this equation is not dimensionally correct. This equation is not correct, because when the equation is dimensionally wrong, it is wrong as a whole. Now let us see the second example. Here it is x is equal to v0t plus 1 half at square is given. X is displacement, v0 is the initial velocity, t is the time, a is again acceleration and t is again the time. So in such case, now you can see there are two terms in right side. So in such case we have to check the dimensional consistency with the left side to the right side 1 and right side 2 both. Means here we should get left hand side is equal to right hand side 1 is equal to right hand side 2 as well. If any of this condition is not followed, then this equation will be wrong. So let us see. First I'll take left hand side. In left hand side I have to put the dimension formula of x, that is displacement, which is m0 L1 T0. Displacement is one sort of distance, so it is m0 L1 T0. Now right hand side 1. In right hand side 1 we have to consider the dimension formula of v0 and t, where v0 is initial velocity and t is time. Now here there is a one point. See, v0 is initial velocity, so it is one sort of velocity only. Whether it is initial velocity or final velocity or terminal velocity or any other sort of velocity, it is velocity. So the dimension formula will be the same as the velocity. So here the dimension formula of initial velocity is L1 T minus 1, and for time it is T1. As I have said previously, that here for velocity I have omitted m0, and for time I have omitted m0 and l0 both. So as a whole, now the final dimensional formula of right hand side 1 can be written as m0, l1 and t0. See, while writing the final dimensional formula, we should consider all the powers of MLT. So here I have written m0, this is l1, and t minus 1 and t1 gives t0. Okay, now let us check right hand side 2. Here there is 1 half at square. We know that 1 half is a number and that is not included in dimensional analysis, and so we have to just take the dimension formula of acceleration and t square. Now for acceleration, we know the dimensional formula will be L1 t minus 2, and for time it is t1, but don't forget the power 2 here. Now solving this, we will get m0 l raised to 1 and now t raised to 0, because this is t raised to minus 2 and here is t raised to 1 and power 2, that means it becomes t raised to 2. So t raised to minus 2 and t raised to 2 will become t raised to 0. That's why it is m0, l1 and t0. You can see the left hand side is having dimensional formula m0, l1, t0. Right hand side 1 is also having the dimensional formula m0, l1, t0, and right hand side 2 is also having the same dimensional formula m0, l1, t0. So here now I can say that left hand side is equal to right hand side 1 and is equal to right hand side 2. So the equation is dimensionally correct. Dimensionally correct. Here I have to mention that it is dimensionally correct, not correct as a whole, that we cannot say, but at least dimensionally this equation is correct. Now topic 2.10.2, deducing relation among the physical quantities. If we know the dependence of a physical quantity on other quantities, considering the relation as a product type, we can deduce the relation among these physical quantities. Suppose if we know about a physical quantity, that physical quantity is depending on some other physical quantities. We know that other physical quantities as well. And suppose we also know that the relation between these physical quantities is of product type and not of addition type or subtraction type of something like that. So in that case, we can deduce a relation between these physical quantities. Means we can deduce an equation which shows the relation between these physical quantities. Let us see by one example. We will take the example of kinetic energy. Kinetic energy of an particle is depending on the mass as well as on the velocity of the particle. I repeat, kinetic energy of a particle depends on the mass and the velocity of the particle. Let me put this in terms of symbol. K is depending on mass m and velocity v. But here still we don't know that it depends on mass with which power, means it is possible that k would be proportional to m square, or k would be proportional to, let us say, velocity square or velocity cube. We don't know this. So what we'll do, we will put here a and b powers, where a and b belongs to real number r. See, these powers can be positive or negative, anything. That's why I am putting a and b power that belongs to r. So now I can say that this kinetic energy k is proportional to m raised to a and v raised to b. Now I want to put a equal sign, so I have to put a proportionality constant k, m raised to a and v raised to b. Mind well, here this capital K is for kinetic energy and this small k is the proportionality constant. Now we will consider the dimension formula in both the sides. So I can write k, capital K into square bracket, because now I am considering dimensions, small k into square bracket, m into square bracket raised to a, and v into square bracket raised to b. Now here I have to put dimension formula for kinetic energy, then here dimension formula for the proportionality constant, and here dimension formula for mass, here dimension formula for velocity. So let us put them one by one. Now the first is kinetic energy. See, kinetic energy is sort of energy only, and the dimension formula for energy is m1 L2 T minus 2. Then comes k, small k, that is a proportionality constant. Now it is a constant and we are considering that it is dimensionless, so there will be no dimension, or maximum we can put it like m0 L0 T0. Then comes mass. For mass, we know the dimension can be written as m1 raised to a, and for velocity we can write the dimension formula as L1 T minus 1 and raised to b. Don't forget the powers here. Now we can simplify this and can write left side as it is m1 L2 T minus 2, but now the right side can be written as m raised to a. See, here this is m raised to 1 and raised to a, so it gives us m raised to a, and L raised to b. Again, this is L raised to 1 raised to b, so it is L raised to b, and T raised to minus 1 raised to b, so it will give us T raised to minus b. Now here we are having one equation in which left side is also having mLT as base and right side is also having mLT as base. So obviously we can compare the powers of same base. I repeat, we can compare the power of same base. For example, m raised to 1 in the left side and in the right side m raised to a. So the power of both the m will be obviously same. That means it is 1 that is equal to a. The same way, in the left side L raised to 2 and in the right side it is L raised to b. So b will be equal to 2. Here again I am saying we can compare the powers because there is a equal to sign between them. The third one is t raised to minus 2 in the left side. In the right side it is t raised to minus b. So we can say minus b is equal to minus 2. So let me put all of these values here. As I said, m raised to 1 is equal to m raised to a, that means a is equal to 1. Then L raised to 2 is equal to L raised to b, that means it is b equals to and t raised to minus 2 is equal to t raised to minus b. So that will give us minus b is equal to minus 2, but that will again become b is equals to 2, which we already got. So finally we are getting the magnitude of the powers. The magnitude of power A is 1 and magnitude of power B is 2. Now this we will utilize in our equation 1. Here is the equation 1. So let us move forward. Now I can write the equation of kinetic energy as small k m raised to 1 and v raised to 2, because a is 1 and b is 2. So now it is k m1 v square. Still we don't know the value of the proportionality constant k. So this equation is not still complete. But for this we need to do one experiment of finding kinetic energy, and from that experiment we can find out the exact value of k, small k, exact value of this small k. That exact value will obviously come 1 by 2. This we can prove by experiment only, but experimentally the magnitude of k, proportionality k, will come 1 by 2. So let me just mention that experimentally small k is equal to 1 by 2. Thus, now the equation of kinetic energy can be written as k is equal to 1 by 2 m v square. So here is the final equation of kinetic energy, which we have deduced by using the dimensional analysis. Here we have sought out a relation of kinetic energy k with the physical quantities mass and velocity.